Yes, people. Now, if you've pressed on this video, you probably want to launch a supplement brand, but you've got no idea where to start, which is why in this video, I'm going to be breaking down these 7 steps that you need to stick to launch your brand properly and not join the 8 out of 10 startups that unfortunately fail. Now, why would you want to listen to me? Over the last 2 years, I've grown my supplement brand Crush from 0 to over 36 grand a month in revenue, but made plenty of mistakes and wasted thousands of pounds in cash along the way. And if I knew these 7 steps sooner, I could have avoided plenty of those mistakes. So with that being said, make sure to hit that subscribe button and let's get into breaking down the 7 steps to launch your supplement brand. Now, number 1, this is super important to get right, and so many founders unfortunately get this wrong. And if you get this wrong, it's like being an estate agent sending people to a house with crumbling walls. You can send all the traffic in the world to the house, but they're never going to buy, and it's because the foundations of the house were not built properly, and that's what product and brand ideation means. So you need to make sure that whatever product you bring to market, the market actually wants it. Otherwise, you're competing in this super competitive space with hundreds of other brands like yours, and you're just going to be another option. So number 1, you need to refine your product. So number 1, you need to refine your product idea. This doesn't just mean you choose a product in your head and decide that's what you're going with. You need to validate the idea. And you do this by getting out into the public, talking to customers, understanding their pain points and how they're currently solving that problem. And once you found that pain, you reverse engineer it and then you come up with your product idea. I'll give you a great example. One of the guys from Startup Club called Aaron wanted to launch a protein powder. He had his idea, but after going out into the market and giving customers free samples of protein in response for their time and answering his questionnaire, he got lots of valuable market feedback, and he then built this into his product and developed it from there. So don't just think of a product yourself, validate it in the market and reverse engineer from there. Then you've got your brand ideation. So innovation for your product and brand comes in 2 phases. You've got the product formula itself, and then you've got the packaging and branding. This is the brand ideation phase. Most brands in the supplement space will put their products into boring tubs. This is so overdone. If you go back 5 years ago, every single company was doing it. But what you want to do for your brand to really stand out in the market is put it in something different, whether that's different colors, putting it into stick packs, into pouches, into sachets, into something completely different that the market hasn't seen yet. If you innovate on the product front and you innovate on the brand and packaging front, you give your product a much better chance of standing out next to competitors and standing out on shelves if you want to go down the B2B route. So this is a super important phase to get right. Remember, product, validate the idea in the market first by talking to customers in public or gathering research online. And then choose your brand packaging so it stands out next to competitors and you're not going down that boring old black tub route. So that's phase 1. Make sure you tick this off first and foremost, and then we move into stage 2. Now, this is a really important one as well. Phase 2 is your formula. Excuse my awful writing, I'm left-handed, so I'm surprised it's not started smudging already. But phase 2, the formula, is super important to get right, because when you launch in the market, people are going to scrutinize your product. So you need to make sure the ingredients and dosages that you choose are very well researched so you can back up the claims that you're making in your content. Now, a lot of suppliers will help you develop the ingredients yourself, but ideally you want to carry out a lot of the research on your own so that when you go to suppliers, you've got this formula already built out. Now, shock, ChatGPT is going to be your best friend here. Look at your competitors first. Pull out the ingredients that they're using, model success, and then run it by ChatGPT and look at what are my competitors doing, what are they not good at, what are they doing well, and how can we improve on it. So you choose all of those specific ingredients and dosages, you build that into your formula, and then we move into phase 3, which is reaching out to suppliers. Now, suppliers is a bit of a minefield. There are so many to choose from across the UK, and a lot of the people that I work with one-on-one to help them with their brands really struggle with this phase, because suppliers think if you're a small fish and you don't have much budget, they don't care, they don't want to know. So you really need to find the right suppliers. And if you want help launching your brand, I've got a list of pre-vetted suppliers that I put people in touch with, as well as helping people from product ideation through to formula definement, refining your brand, speaking to suppliers and launching into the market. So if you need some help and you don't want to make the expensive mistakes that I unfortunately did with Crush, then book in a free one-on-one strategy call with me. I'll leave that link in the description below. And with that being said, suppliers, where do you start? Go on Google and literally type in, if you're launching electrolytes, for example, electrolyte suppliers UK. You'll get lists and lists of companies come up. Just send them an outreach email. You want to say something like, hi, my name's XYZ, I'm launching XYZ brand, my loose formula is attached. Can you please let me know your MOQs, that's very awful writing, and your lead times. Now, MOQ stands for minimum order quantity. Suppliers have minimum order quantities. This means you can't just order 10 products. Often you've got to order 1,000 kilos of product, or 500 kilograms, or 1,000 units. And different suppliers will have different minimum order quantities. So you need to make sure whichever supplier you go with, their MOQ suits your budget. This is what it's mainly going to come down to. And then lead times, this means how long is the supply going to take from when you reach out to them through to developing the product and actually shipping it out to you. So these are the critical questions that you want to ask them. And another really important thing to look out for when you're dealing with suppliers is comms, or communication. If a supplier is not getting back to you quickly, they're beating around the bush, they're fobbing you off, jump ship. Do not start with a supplier that doesn't treat you with respect from day one. You need the supplier to have a decent MOQ that fits your budget, their lead times need to be reasonable, and really importantly, their communication has to be solid as well. So stage 1, you've defined the product and brand, you've brought something innovative to market. Stage 2, you've refined the formula, and stage 3, you've now started reaching out to suppliers. You can whittle down the number of suppliers, and then you can choose that one that fits your MOQ, lead time, and communication standards. Now, phase 4, this is always a fun part of the process. It's where your brand actually starts to come to life, and this is sampling. I don't even know if you can see this on the whiteboard. I'm filming all of this, but I hope you can. So when you've chosen your supplier and you've placed your product development order, you then go through rounds of sampling. Typically you have 2, 3, or 4 rounds of sampling. This is where you go through phase 1, you try out your original formula, you'd see how it tastes, how it mixes, if the product actually works. If it does, great, you can move quickly. Most times you're going to need a couple of rounds of sampling, so then you go to the second round. You pull out some ingredients, you add in some different ingredients, and you start moving to a place where the product does what it says, it tastes good, and you're happy to take this to market. Now, if you've got a good supplier, they'll help you through this process, but you need to be proactive in your research. You need to have suggestions for which ingredients you want to drop, which ingredients you want to add in, but it's really important that you work closely with your supplier in this sampling phase. But it's such an exciting period. A couple of weeks ago, a few of the guys in Startup Club received their first samples. Caleb received it for the brand that he's launching in America. Aaron received his samples, and it's just such a nice feeling to go from having this idea and actually bringing something to life. Like it's the power of visualization, taking action, and actually bringing something to market. So this is phase 4, which is sampling. So the brand's coming along nicely. You've placed your order with your supplier, and now you need to start thinking about how are you actually going to sell your product? And this comes down to sales channels. Now, there are plenty of sales channels that you can choose from. You've got Instagram and Facebook that will send people to your website, or Meta. You've got TikTok, you've got Temu, you've got Amazon, you've got B2B. The 2 that I would recommend starting with off the bat, without a doubt, is a Shopify website and also TikTok. And let me explain why I would recommend starting with these 2 channels. So number 1, if you launch a website, you can drive people there from Instagram and Facebook, so you can run meta ads and you can get organic traffic. Typically, average order value and profit margins are going to be much higher through your website. You get customers' emails and then you can market to them. So you can keep customers for month 1, 2, 3, or 4, and this builds a really powerful brand. Now, why would I recommend getting on TikTok? This is what took Crush from doing 3, 4, or 5K a month right up to 36 grand a month, because TikTok is the low-hanging fruit for brands. You don't need any money to get on the platform, or you don't need much money to get on the platform. And TikTok has a phenomenal system for affiliate outreach. You can get hundreds of affiliates on TikTok promoting your products, and they get paid an automatic commission, and this snowballs. Once that snowball is rolling, it's going to keep growing and keep growing, so long as you keep finding more affiliates and pumping more content. And that's exactly what happened with Crush. In September 2025, we had a piece of content go viral from one of our affiliates. It hit 4 million views. Our ads were loving it. Other affiliates started copying it, and the snowball just started rolling. So you've developed your brand, you've placed the order, you choose your sales channels, and I would definitely recommend starting off with a Shopify website and TikTok shop. If you need help setting any of this up, or any part of this process to launch your brand, make sure to book in that free one-on-one strategy call with me that is in the description below. We move on to the all-important part of the strategy, which is number 6. This is your marketing strategy. I'm going to try and get this ink off here so it doesn't start to look messy. So we've got number 6, your marketing strategy. Now this is really important to get right, and it depends what sort of founder you are. For me, I've always liked to attach my face to the brand because I think it helps people buy into your mission. You can share your story, what you're getting up to behind the scenes, highs and lows, and I've done this for years, documenting the raw journey of building a brand. But a lot of people want to do it faceless, and that's fine. You don't always have to show your face. So for your marketing, you want to build out, obviously, your sales channels, whether you're going to be using affiliates. Are you going to be making content yourself? Or are you going to outsource it? And what types of content are you going to be posting? Now, it's not good enough to just think about these things in your head. You have to develop a document that lists all of these different types of components, your sales channels, the affiliates, content, types of content, and then you need to have an ideal customer avatar. This comes back to stage 1 and 2 where you're building out the brand so you know exactly who you're focusing on. But all of these core parts of your marketing strategy have to feed back to your target market, because if you're targeting everyone, you're targeting no one. And this is a conversation I had with 2 guys yesterday that are launching a brand. They want to launch a product and they were thinking of going for gym goers, for hybrid athletes, for functional athletes, and for everyone in between. Now you can go broad market, but I would definitely recommend niching down, and that builds into this marketing strategy, because when you niche, that means that every piece of content, every word, every image, every bit of copy on your website can focus on one customer demographic and their pain points. This makes it much easier for you as a solo founder to only focus on one area. But if you're focusing on gym goers, hardcore bodybuilders, functional athletes, Pilates mums, then you're going to have to be jumping from every single piece of content, hitting all of these different pain points, and it gets very messy. So stage number 6 is build out your marketing strategy and put this into a document that you keep updated over time. Now, number 7 is where things get exciting. You've developed the brand, your product's probably landed, and now you're getting closer to the all-important launch date. So this is the 4-week out launch plan. At this point, you should be set up on your sales channels. You know exactly what customers you're targeting. You've got your product and offer sorted. Your website's probably live, and you're getting closer to launch. This is where most brands will fumble. You need to have, we'll stick with the blue. You need to have your content ready to go. In fact, you're probably already posting at this point. You're teasing the market with what your product is, what you're aiming to solve, which pain points you're hitting. So you start posting out content. You want to start running email marketing. My handwriting is going absolutely terrible. Email marketing, and you also want to be doing pop-up stalls. Now, what do I mean by pop-up stalls? Pop-up stalls is where you go out into the market. You might go to gyms, fitness centers, or out into the public, literally any random space where there's high traffic. Set up a stand. For Crush, we've got a tablecloth, we've got a flag, and we give out lots of products to people. And this means you can get content and you can show people that you are a real brand in the market. And this is excellent for social proof and validation, because so many products pop up into the market, but you need to show people that you are a real brand. And also, when you're giving out free samples, you can collect emails from customers that you can then start running in your email marketing. And the power of doing this 4 weeks before you launch, that if you can gather 100, 200, or 300 emails, when you come to launch, if your email marketing flows are set up, you can push out your offer to hundreds of people and start driving those organic sales. And if you've done your product development properly, these customers will buy in month 1, month 2, month 3, month 4, which is why it's critical that you get this whole phase done properly, from product development and refining your brand through to your formula, suppliers, marketing and launch strategy, and then handling this 4 weeks launch plan properly. So I hope this has given you some insight into how to actually launch a supplement brand. No fluff, no bullshit. These are the strategies that I've used for myself, Crush, and the strategies that I use for founders that I work with one-on-one. So if you still are feeling confused and overwhelmed, or you think, how the hell am I meant to tackle these 7 steps on my own? then make sure to book in that free one-on-one strategy call with me. I'll leave it down below. We'll go through your current situation. I'll give you some insight onto how to launch your brand. And if you want to implement that strategy, then I'll share with you how that would look if we were to work together one-on-one. Now, I hope you've taken some insight from this video and you can apply these steps to your brand to get things moving. Make sure to hit that subscribe button. And as always, I'll see you in the next one.